Apparently, I hide all the good things from my co-host, like the flip camera. But that's okay. Anyways, sorry again for the one take that this is going to be. I really only do it on days that I'm busy or I can't get things to work on my computer, and today both things are true. So, first story of today, Jerry Sandusky got his, 20 or whatever, however many years he's going to be in prison, basically the rest of his life, because he's old and a boy toucher, and it's, it's good he's going to jail because he's kind of a slimy man. And I wouldn't trust him to watch a dog, much less a child, so I'm really glad he's going to jail. Second, SpaceX finally, I had said that it had made it to the ISS on Monday. Apparently that wasn't true. Today they snagged it and tagged it, and now it's giving them their needed supplies, and they're going to put experiments into it and waste and whatever, and send it back to Earth. So that's a good day. Technically, this is actually the first commercial use of the capsule. The first one back in May was a test flight, and they were making sure that they could throw stuff up there and bring it back down safely, without it actually being a NASA project. So they did it, and now it's the first of 12 missions for SpaceX. There's another company in Virginia that has 8 other resupply missions that they're going to do for it, and they're going to basically see which one of them's better, or if they're both pretty good, they'll just keep throwing money at both of them. We'll see what happens. Next up, I talked about the Nobel Prize the other day, how my faith had been restored in the Royal Academy of Sciences in Sweden, or the Royal Swedish Academy of Science, something. That's actually what it is that gives out the Nobel Prize, I read and found out. And they're giving out the chemistry prize to 2 U.S. scientists who figured out how to make cells ingest pharmaceuticals better. That's kind of a big deal, and that makes me happy. And they gave one to a French man and an American man who together have done things with quantum mechanics, like particles. The most notable one was that they took an atom and they were able to have it in 2 places simultaneously, the same atom. So that's kind of a big deal. I'm not sure if that makes any sense to anyone else, but it's really, really quite cool. And so these 2 guys who've been working together since the 90s, and they were doing that same particle in 2 places at the exact same time thing back in the 90s. So heaven knows what they're doing right now. But basically, we're going to be able to have those quantum computers that AJ keeps talking about, where we're doing fast stuff now with big, huge computers. Basically, the quantum computer leap will be that of the leap from those punch card machines back in the 40s that took up whole rooms to do calculations, down to that computer right down there. So it's going to be a big deal, and I'm looking forward to that happening, because quantum computing is really cool. And so my next thing, something that really, really upset me, was this Pakistani girl who apparently for the last 3 years she has been speaking out against the Taliban and very vocal about women's rights and the way that the Taliban treats women. And so the Taliban put her on a hit list. She is 14 years old now. She's been speaking out since she was 11 on a blog under a pseudonym, and her real name finally came out, and so she's just been an activist. 14 years old. I was not doing that cool of things when I was 14 years old, but she was on a hit list, and apparently a guy dressed in a cop suit pulled over her bus that she was on her way home from school, got on, made sure that it was her, and then shot her twice. And, they got her to survive, and they took out one of the bullets today, which makes me happy because she's surviving a double gunshot wound. Oh man, it angers me that there can be such just ignorance in the world where someone can be... I've said it before, I don't understand how someone can get so angry that they say, you know what, I'm gonna shoot a child. Period. It does not compute to me. So, and you know, like, someone breaking into your house and you shoot into the dark and it happens to be like a 14-year-old stealing stuff from you, that's one thing. But an orchestrated attack, specifically to silence a 14-year-old, that's crazy to me. That's absolute insanity. And that's exactly what the Taliban is to me. Absolute insanity. But I move on to some kind of less important news. The news stations got a hold of a story about Barack Obama having attended the vice presidential debate moderator's wedding, and they were making this big stinky deal about it, and then they all, like, for like 2 minutes, and then they're like, oh wait, we can't do that because it's Barack Obama, so we have to figure out some other way to play this. And well, really, honestly, when it comes down to it, successful people all kind of run in the same circles. It's really sad to say, but it's kind of a cabal in that way, a group, a tight-knit clique. And that might have been the word I was looking for, a tight-knit clique, wherever you are in whatever level of whatever you're doing. And up there's a lot of people that all kind of do the same things, and they're all friends, and, you know, politicians only argue on TV, only argue on C-SPAN, they go out to lunch afterwards. It's obscene. But if they really want, you know, non-partisan, non-hackery when going into the debates like that, you actually have to get people that are outside of the circle to moderate things. Like Jim Lehrer he's the PBS guy, and people were making a big stink about Romney cutting funding to PBS, so how could Jim actually be a real moderator? I think I talked about that at least. And then you know, this person, and I don't really know who Martha Raddatz actually is. I don't know who she is as a human being, but if she's actually connected to Obama, maybe she shouldn't be there. That's just my opinion on it. Go ahead and tell me what you think down there. I'm not going to be able to cut in the outro to ask you that question, so go and comment about that, or whatever else you really want to talk about. There's another story about how you know, that book that came out, the Navy SEAL who was on the raid for Osama bin Laden. He talked about training in North Carolina, and so some people who research such things, I believe their name is CryptoMe.com. They're really hardcore. They were like, well, what CIA training facilities do we know about in North Carolina? And then they found the base on Bing Maps. And the old Bing Maps photo that Bing Maps has the training facility that looks exactly like the Obama compound in Pakistan. And so that's really kind of cool that they trained on a scale replica of the compound. And then you think about it, and you go to, hey, Google, what is that? What is the defense base that we trained on look like now? And it looks like this. An empty lot. Now that we're done training there, they broke down all the walls and everything. I'm gonna flip back to it because I can. And all the walls and training and everything, that is the exact same plot of land a few months apart, because Bing has some older pictures and Google always has newer pictures, because heaven knows the overlords at Google are you know, looking out for our well-being. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking now because I've been rambling on, and I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, be aware.